6 rain crust. Now this layer has been breaking down because of the faceting process. So as time goes on, we talked about faceting actually destroying bonds in layers, and it'll actually chew that crust away. So if that engine keeps working on that, then eventually that crust will probably disappear. So this layer's been, and then typically the crust layer's 20 centimeters above the ground. So when we do some digging today, we'll see if we can see that, and we should also notice whether there's facets and things above and below. They're just sort of saying that ice climbers, there's possibility of triggering small slabs at high elevations. So, avalanche activity no reported in the last 24 hours, and then the reason they're bumping it up for tomorrow is it's temperatures forecast to rise to 1,200 meters on Tuesday with increased wind. Now they didn't mention any new snowfall, but if you've got lots of light powdery snow like this, if the wind picks up enough, it's going to redistribute it without actually even having to start precipitating. So if I was heading out the next couple of days, I'll definitely be aware of wind loading and temperature as well. And for you folks, you may be back at work. The next couple of days is just kind of keep checking this and see what actually happens. Was the forecast accurate, and are they going to bump the hazard rating up? That's kind of about it, really. Any questions about any of that?
How deep snow? You just measured it.
Guess. What do you think it is?
12 inches.
12 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's reasonably close. I don't work in inches anymore.
No, it's right. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So, how close am I?
Yeah, you're pretty close. Actually, 30 centimeters.
Okay.
Yeah, 30 centimeters is what we have.
And you had the snow on a piece of paper as well. What were you doing?
I'll show you later.
Okay.
Not to move too far off, I have a small little kit in here, and I can do quite a lot of readings right off the bat.
Okay.
But you'll see a little bit more of that later.
Okay.
Temperature is minus 18 though, if you're interested. So it's getting warmer.
If we're cold, that's why.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, folks, is we'll work in 2 groups here. One group can just kind of stay in this area, another group will just go a little bit further around the corner. It's just so we can do the beacon stuff without bumping into each other too much. Just before we leave though, obviously an issue today is trying to stay warm. If you feel you need to run around to stay warm, then myself and Chris won't be offended if you run away from us, as long as you come back at some point. But really, if you can just make sure that you are staying warm today, and if you're not, let us know and we can do something about it. Send you back to the car. So saying that, just check everyone's got the right gear for the beacon probe shovel, warm gear, clothing, and we'll spend a little bit of time here, and then we'll actually head up the hill. It's probably like 20-minute walk, so there'll be a chance to get warmed up again. But we'll try and keep things moving today.
I'll stay here. Given the choice, I'll stay in the sun.
All right.
Yeah. Good answer, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Good warmth management.
If I get really full speed, what I'll do is I'll just and do a good swing like this, and that'll get them going. Now, I don't know if you can do that in your snowshoes.
My advice here would be just to, you could buy a second hand, but just make sure it's reasonably modern. Get a really old beacon. The frequency may not be quite on the original setting, and that will affect its range and things. But, so these ones are 457 kilohertz, and then it's a AAA batteries, alkaline batteries they're using in here, and then the on-off switch is just on the back there. So you can actually switch it on, but as soon as you switch it on, have a look at the front, and it'll come up. It'll give you a reading. That's a percentage battery life in there. So just check. So as long as no one's got less than 50.
46.
Oh, yeah.
46.
Went away.
61.
Yeah, mine too. 71, but it just is gone now. It doesn't show
No.
on the screen.
It'll come up with a percentage, and then the screen thing will disappear now. I think 46 will be all right today, but tracker actually sort of suggests changing batteries around about 25%, but we sort of tend to think around about 50 we'll sort them out, so we'll get that one. And if it becomes an issue, I've got extra batteries.
If I die, it's okay.
That's not okay.
Don't say that they.
Stop flashing.
No, it'll just keep flashing. It just means it's
What if the
turned on.
battery's flat?
Well, it'll get a percentage reading, and it'll just say 0,
Okay.
or it just won't say anything at all.
That still flash when the battery's flat?
No.
No. Okay. So that's another indicator?
Yeah, but you'd want to, if you had low percentage, you want to change the batteries, because it's kind of too late by the time that stops. It's too buried. So right now everyone is sending. Yep, so you're all sending out a signal, and this is my beacon listening to 8 of your beacons. If I come close to them, yeah. So it's going to get really confused because there's so many there, but you can see that it changes as I get closer. So it changes the distance readout, also changes the beeping. So I did that by, so don't do it just now, but depressing the red button. Now, sometimes it's, you actually got to get your thumb right on there. So if you've got mitts on, you've got to really kind of work to get your finger on there. What will happen is that you'll get 2 lines come up, and then it'll come up with, it'll say SE. Yeah, that means search. You've got to take your finger off the button as soon as it says that, because if you leave it, it'll ignore that and it'll just stay on the same mode. So if you watch what I do here, so push it down, take it off, that's in search mode now. So you guys can all do that if you want. And basically there shouldn't be, once we've all done that, shouldn't be any noise, because then we'll all be listening. So we've still got someone must be still.
Panic everywhere.
Right, who's still transmitting? You are.
3.5. Just, oh, there we are. 50. 3.6.
2.8.
Well, it's someone's not a transmitter.
They're all opposite.
Maybe somebody's under it. Do you want me to just let your moustache freeze, or do you want me to dust it?
Your beacon.
Sorry,
Oh, mine just went to
43 also. Yeah, 44.
48. Yeah, that must be the other group.
So we might, if you're getting something occasionally, it's probably picking up
Yeah, you
folks
can
over
just
there.
get the other group.
And it kind of, if you move the beacon around, you might grab something and it'll disappear again. Okay, so that's us all searching. So if I go, I'm going to change mine. Now you guys are all listening to mine, so I'm back in transmit. And so to go back to transmit, you just push the red button, it'll come up with TR. You just take your thumb off it again.
2.0, is that how many meters away you are?
So if you'll go back to transmit again, so push it down, and you see the TR. And now again we've got no noise because now we're all sending.
Has there ever been a case that this button accidentally got turned on to searching for the person that got in?
It's not too bad actually with that.
It's not easy.
The new track has got a button which has a few issues, but this one seems to be fine. You guys, so those are the
Stays
two
on search
functions.
until you press the button to go back to transmit.
Yeah.
There were some versions that went back after, say, 10 minutes. I can't remember which.
This one does. It involves when you set it up, putting your thumb on the yellow button.
Oh, okay.
So the question Dave had there is, some of these have got, if you're searching for someone and you got caught in another avalanche, unless you can turn the beacon back to transmit, then they're not going to find you. But this one does have a setup that probably won't go through it just now. But when you turn it on, if you push the yellow button down, it has this automatic. So after 10 minutes, it'll switch over the mode there. And then the other beacon will do that as well. So everyone clear with that? Yeah. Okay. So let's all you folks to all switch your beacons off now. Yeah. And then I'll. So yesterday we were talking about this sort of primary search. So if I came into a real huge area, then I'd just put my beacon on search, and then if it was only me, I'd kind of zigzag backwards and forwards until I started picking up the signal. And then this part of the search is what we're going to show you, just following the flux line in, and then doing the pinpoint. So. So if you have a look at this, have a look at the beacon here. So the way I've put this beacon down, you get the signal's actually coming around in a big arc like this. So the flux line is following here, and you can follow it around. So it's going this way as well. Yep. Now if I turn this, that's where the flux line is. And again, that's where the flux line is. So what I need to do is just turn this until the flux line. If I go beyond it, it's going to be the same thing out there.
If you turn it 90 degrees, it just shows over. Right?
It'll just, it's just telling me that the flux line's here and it's here. Yeah. So I just bring it back to there. Now, this beacon, if I turn it this way, so I could actually end up walking this way. What's going to happen though? It might go all the way around, but
distances will get greater.
So if that ever happens, that you're on the flux line and you walk and it starts going up, it's just like, okay, well, along the flux line I was just walking the wrong direction. I'm going to turn around, I'm going to come back this way. There we go. Cool. So why don't you guys just sort of kind of follow me over, and I'll just walk backwards. Now, normally you wouldn't do this, right? It's really just so you guys can see what's going on. Now, can you see what's happening now?
16.
Yep. It's also telling me to go this way, so I just turn it. I just keep following that. And I got telling me to turn it again. So do that.
10,
now,
9 point.
you get below 10 and the beeps speed up. So you can probably anticipate where the light's going to flash next, isn't it? So I just turn it again. So 4.5, 3, down at 3 meters now. Okay, so it's telling me to walk this way.
It must be exciting when that happens.
As in scary, exciting.
Yeah. But
Yeah. No, yeah, it is actually.
That kind of way.
Yeah, and that's why you want to try and practice so you don't get too, it's more of a matter of course rather than, for sure. So, I'll show you something that happens quite often to folks, and then I'll describe why this happens. So, I'm just going to follow the lights here. So that was just a waste of time for me. So this person's under here and it's like I'm walking around in circles. Now what happens with this is because I get so close to it, kind of the beacon gets a bit crazy and these lights just start flashing all over the place just because I'm so close to it. Remember I said that yesterday? So what I do with this beacon is when I get to when I get to 5 meters, I start bringing it closer to the snow because I want to reduce the distance I am away from the beacon. When I hit 3 meters, I'm going to keep the beacon pointed in this direction. I'm going to ignore the direction arrows now, and I'm just going to home in on the distance.
arrow?
No, I'm just going to ignore the directions now. Because what tends to happen is people concentrate on the arrows and they just walk around in circles. So I'm going to ignore that. I'm just going to use the distance. So I'm going to go this way, and I keep the beacon pointed this way all the time. And I go, and even though I've got a lowish signal here, I'm going to take an extra step beyond it, an extra stride, and the signal's going up. I come back. I might even just double check that that was the lowest point. Okay, so it's going back up again. I get to that midpoint, and then I'm going to go left. I'm going to take a stride to the left. And back to the right.
So you're looking for the lowest number?
No, I actually use a combination of 5 different signals. Okay. So I use a rising signal here and here, and I kind of make an imaginary cross, and that should tie in with my lowest signal. Okay. Yeah. And that's actually really important because there's things going on with the beacon there that if I try and find the lowest, it could be a little bit inaccurate. Okay. So always take that extra stride. Now, if you've got snowshoes on and skis, the issue we can't do is we can't get lazy. So I know backing up sometimes is difficult. And what people will do is they'll get here and they'll kind of do this with the beacon. And they'll do this, and then they'll kind of do this. Now, notice I kept the beacon orientated the same way, because if I turn it, I'm actually getting change in signal, because it's changing the orientation of the aerials. Okay, you guys can just stay here. I'll just show you how this should look at kind of real speed, so that like. Okay, so I'll make this pretty quick and rough. And then kicking it the same way all the time. Take that stride. What are we shouting for here? What do I need? I need clothes and shovel. And then I'll start probing.
But once someone sees you crossing over, if they're a team, you should be able, someone should come over.
Hopefully, yeah. If you're aware there's no one around, then you'll get shot. So, just tell me a few things we did there. Learning points from that.
Learning points to make a cross once you find the lowest frequency.
Okay, so I find the lowest, but I also find where it goes up either side, like on 4 different sides.
When you are also nearby, you do kind of like a sphere, but follow the same pattern. Don't chaotically move.
Okay. And what
Move the
distance did I start ignoring the lights? 3 meters, yeah.
They make it lower to the ground.
Good, yeah. So you think about like landing an aeroplane, that out there doesn't matter if I'm too high or low from the runway, but whereas I come into the runway, I want to bring it in, slow down a little bit. What about moving my feet? What do I need to be not lazy with?
Oh yeah.
You need to move them.
Yeah, I gotta take those steps. Sorry.
Orientation has to
Yeah, good. So I need to hover at the same height, because if I change the height and I change the direction of the beacon, it's gonna affect things.
Make sure you follow the meters going down.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Then
Great.
show on the probe.
Yep. Yeah, and it's actually not a bad habit to get into as you do that. It becomes a matter of course.
So I might be getting way ahead of us today, but and if I am, just let me know. Are we going to cover if there's multiple beacons in the snow? Because I'd imagine that gets quite confusing, right?
In our practice, we'll do that, but probably don't have time to get into the system of finding ones close by. And actually, although we do training on it, they've done studies on it, and the percentage of that actually happening where they're really close is quite small. And then if you think about our safe travel techniques, we don't want to be bunched up, and we want to be travelling through avalanche terrain one at a time or spread out. Then ideally we're not going to deal with that. Now, it's a good point, and we'll give you in a scenario we'll give that. But if I can get down to a beacon and I do the first aid, I'm going to turn their beacon off, and then it means I can go and find the other one
But I guess if they're separated by 40 meters, the two people, this thing will sort of pick the strongest.
They'll pick up the strongest one, yeah. And then what you might need to do is go, okay, the beacon was acting a bit funky there, it was jumping around.
Yeah.
So once I've done that one, I might go back to there and then move away from it, and then it'll lock onto the strongest one.
Now what would happen if that was on search and he's buried?
He's screwed.
He's screwed, okay.
It shouldn't be.
So everybody travelling together should be on receive and
Transmit.
then transmit.
Everyone,
And then if someone goes under, they on transmit, and then everybody else goes on receive.
No, you're good. We're just chatting. Yeah. So basically, everyone's when we leave here, we'll do that. We'll all be on transmit mode.
That's about your guess.
Guys, got any questions or? So I think the thing we'll do now is just kind of sort of spread out through here. If you just find a space away from other folks. Now, we don't need to like walk 300 meters that way and then put the beacon down and come back. Actually, the secondary search, the flux line search, is the easy bit. It's the pinpoint that uses up a lot of time. So what I'd actually like to see is people working on that. So you can put the beacon like 10 meters, 15 meters away, and then just go and find it. To start with, just keep it on the surface so people can see it and they can figure out that. And then, if you're getting happy with that, you can kind of put it down in the snow a little bit. But we're not going to do a lot of that because I want to sort of move on and it actually involves some probing with it pretty soon. Any questions or?
So we just turn on. That's what we do, right? Turn on.
Just like we've been doing, yeah. So one beacon's going to be down in transmit mode, and your partner's just going to go and practice searching for it. And guys, when you're doing this, obviously, like I said, if someone's buried a meter down and you're searching up here, then you're actually adding more error because then you're making a 2 meter burial. So get the beacon right down close to the ground. But you can sort of practice. Okay, well, if they were buried a meter or even 2 meters, you can hold up like that and see what it looks like. So this session now is really just to get familiar with the beacon and how it all works. All right. So yeah, spread out, and I'll come around and just check in on you, see how you're doing.
I'll take a bit of time.
All right. Yeah, it's on position and it's.
Got anything now, David?
No.
Just keep walking this way a bit then.
I'm not sure I'm on.
No, you'd be hearing something by now.
Let's see.
What you're doing
I'm
is keeping
pressing
your finger on the
too
button
much.
too long.
Okay.
So now.
That's the problem. Okay.
A little bit to do that one actually.
That's useful. Thank you.
Just start getting close. Bring it down. Yeah. Now, if you just back out to where it was 3 meters. Yeah. Okay, so that's just telling you you're going to keep the beacon pointed that way all the time now. Yeah. Okay, good.
Makes a different squeak.
Yeah, as you get closer, it speeds up.
That's what it is, obviously.
Yeah, looks good. maybe you guys just do, if you want to do a couple more and then we'll get
Yeah.
back together.
Do you think we should hide it now in the snow?
Yeah, you can put it down. Just when you do that, if you just put it in the, make sure it's one of them's in the cradle, it'll just protect it a little bit from the snow.
Okay. Just give me a second, Dave. I mean, you have to hide it now, right? Oh. Feel free. Yeah, I'm gonna put mine next time in a case, so then I'll just throw it in the snow someplace. I won't even leave tracks where it's gonna fall. I won't even leave tracks where it's going to fall, the beacon. I'm just gonna throw it. Going to hide this beacon in the snow, so they will try to find it. That's not good enough. Dave, you can start your search. Maybe you gotta dig deeper.
Here it is.
Bingo. Right on.
Just a bit off to one side.
Yeah. Excellent.
He wants it back.
Yeah. Just doing.
But as far as the probes go, kind of, there's a few ways you can break, especially these ones. You can break them quite easily. So that's what I just wanted to show you there. When we put them together, we don't put them together like a tent pole, like where you fit them together like that. What I'd do is, if I was on the slope, I'd throw it downhill. But if I just throw it out like that, and then what I'm going to do is hold the first rod, pull the cable or the string, and then just shake it together like that. And then with these ones, this little wheel's got threads on it. It's just a case of pulling the rest of the bar up there, and then just locating the red wheel on the threads, and then just turning it. Now the way you can break this one is I could keep turning this for like 10 minutes, and it wouldn't feel like it's tightening. But what's happening now is it's actually twisting the wire, and eventually it'll snap it down at the end there. So to get this one tight, you just hold the end, and then just turn the wheel until it's kind of hand tight. And then to check the tension, this is kind of generic with any probe, is I just go to one of the sections here and try and pull it apart. And if there's any movement there, I just want to tighten it up a little bit more. And the reason for that is if you're probing debris, every time you lift it, you're going to shock load the cable, and eventually it's going to snap it. So you want that snug just in there. So that's setting the probe up. To take it apart, you just, again, in reverse, hold that, turn the wheel. Again, that's important. And then any probe, I'll start at the tip end and break it down towards the top. And the reason is if I go the other way, I might just end up with a little bit of wire there. And if I force it around the corner, it's going to damage the tubing there. So I'll just go this way just to make sure I've always got enough at the top there. Okay, so yeah, why don't you just throw them out and put together.
Yeah, now it's my turn.
And then you do 150 centimetres to the other side. Each person would do three of those. And then whoever's organising it, so say Paula was doing it, she just give you a command to step up. You take a kind of long slide, about 7 centimetres, and then you just go through those three slides again. And then Paula can give you a command to step up again. Good job, well done. How'd that go? And then you go through those three. And you just carry on like that.
Before you do this, have you already looked through the bits that you can see sticking out?
So, like I was saying, hopefully you'll never have to do this because it means someone doesn't have a beacon on. Yeah. And remember, there was another type of probing we did just before we set up a line probe. Remember what that was?
The zigzag.
Yeah, remember I said you do a bit of spot probing?
Spiral.
No, even just like, so something's happened, someone got buried, I go down there, do my transceiver check, I'm looking for gear, there's nothing. Like it means then that they didn't have a beacon on. So then before I do a line probe, I'm going to do a bit of spot probing around likely burial areas. And that's literally just, okay, there's a tree here, maybe they got caught around the tree here, I'm going to do that. And then I'll go to the line probe. So that's kind of the last stage there. But like I said, that's if someone didn't have a beacon in. Hopefully that'll never be another. deal with that. I just wanted to mention I didn't want to spend much time, just so you guys have seen that. But just coming back then to fitting it into our beacon stuff for the target. So we did that spiral probe search.
Sorry, how much longer do you want to go?
Probably going to have another 20 minutes here.
20 minutes here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just going to do a bit of stuff with the target. So
Okay, well, I'm doing target stuff now. So you haven't done your target?
no, it's about to start it. So we come in, we've done the pinpoints. So tell me what I do here.
Well, you find your
you think
beacon.
it is?
Okay, so if I did my imaginary cross, this is where I'm going to put the first one in. I haven't found it. So how far apart?
50 centimeters.
20 centimeters.
25. Yeah, so again, like I said, for me it's a bit more than my thumb to finger span. So there, then next one. Yeah, so I'm going to move 25 from that one, 25 from this one. There. It's just like so easy. And it's so shallow. And then when I get to here, then I'm just moving that spiral out. So I know it's pretty fast because it's such a shallow snowpack, but I cover a pretty fast area pretty quick. Now when you get to, what's the issue now as I reach across here? What's happening to the probe?
It's an angle.
It's an angle. So I'm not even 25 there, but it's diving down this way.
Oh, he's going up further.
So what I need to do is I actually need to start walking around. So at least I can stay on the outside of this. It means that I can see the hole in the middle. So I'm going to kind of circle around this thing. And I'll keep doing that.
Well, you got your signal over here, right?
Yeah.
By the time you got up here, you should have hit something by then.
Maybe. The deeper they're buried, the more inaccuracy there's going to be with it. Yeah. Like, hopefully you should be hitting it by that time. But, when you're doing this, guys, try and get in the habit of both hands probing. Don't hold the beacon and do it with one hand. So you can let go of the beacon, let it hang on the elastic, and then get busy with that. It won't work in deep snow, just trying to do this probe with one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a target through the trees there. There's going to be one up here, and then probably one just through the trees just over there. So the base here, everyone's going to turn their beacons off. Yeah, them off. Yeah, but when they leave, you can just walk up that way, and then you can switch it on. And then when you go out, you're going to locate the buried target, you're going to probe it, and then the exercise is finished once you've hit the target. You don't have to dig it up, because it means then someone else can go out and look for it. So it's going to use it as a sort of thing set up there. When you have found it, you can just kind of just over the spot, cover the probe marks up, otherwise it makes it really obvious. And then when you walk back in, turn your beacon off, and then someone else can get out there. So ideally, you'll get at least two goes with that. Make sense? Yeah. And then while I'm doing this, it's going to take a few minutes. Grab yourself a drink. We're not going to stop for lunch today, really. It's going to be snacking on the move. So whenever we take a break, just make sure you grab some. So if everyone just switches off just now, then we'll go and rig this up. Yeah. Otherwise, if you leave it on, it means people are going to be messing people around here. Hey Dave. Have you got my phone? First time or? So this one up there, good to go, folks?
Yeah.
To go there where David was.
All right. Is anyone else? I guess that will be me. All right. Dave, is it all set? Is it all set? Is it all set for searching? Or?
Turn it off. This one's off.
Yeah, then I'll go next. I'll go next for the other one.
Well, you need to go then. Go now.
All right.
We're running out of time now. So.
Sure. Yeah.
And you can go out and use those. And there's one at Burstall Pass in Yamnuska, so you just turn on how many beacons you want to look for, and you can just go out and practice with it. So you don't actually have to dig holes. That's what I said. Yeah, Burstall Pass. Right.
Well, some people might think
I see. Yeah, I thought it was up the path.
Yeah, we were talking about that this morning. We're not sure if it's there anymore. Sunshine and Lake Louise, Rogers Pass is that one.
So for practice, Steve, it's 2 minutes. It's okay.
That's what you want to be aiming for.
Aiming for? All right.
To locate and find one. Yeah.
Sure.
I can't hold my breath any longer than.
We'll do some more. We'll do a bit more this afternoon, but it's going to actually be, instead of like this, it's going to be kind of throwing you into a search. So, you know, just to remind you, leave the probe in when you hit the target, and then you're digging, moving twice the distance away or downhill, digging into it. Although not that much snow to dig. And then you'd be doing your first aid, so clearing airways. And then ideally, you know, especially if there's other beacons close by, if you switch theirs off or switch it to search, then it's not going to be confusing if you're looking for another one close by. Any questions or?
That's actually a really good point, right? It's almost faster than counting heads, right? If everybody knows to turn off the beacons right away, and you're in a group of 10, and if you're getting a hit, that means somebody's buried and has no idea to turn it off.
But
Once you get to them, you mean, or?
Yeah, no, I just mean like, you know, if there is an
might not be
AV
in
and
range.
everybody knows to put all their things on search right away.
Yeah.
And if it's all quiet, then it's all good.
Yeah.
Well,
Everyone's done that.
he raised a good point. Unless the person's out of
I think
range.
you were standing
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Everyone, and then you realise everyone's standing.
So head
Sounds very
count would probably be good.
Oh, yeah,
Some
well,
say
okay,
this
there's
is
no
the most traumatic experience of their lives if they get caught in avalanche. I can't believe that.
Their last experience. Okay, cool. Well, when we get packed up, just with the beacons, when we wear these, ideally we can't see the beacon, so it's actually underneath the layer of clothing. And ideally, I'd be, you know, if I was heading off on a tour, it would be above my base layer. Like, I'm not going to ask you to strip it down today, but what I would ask you to do is put it under at least one layer. Now, why do we want to do that? Why would it be great if it's down on the base layer?
Make sure it stays there and it's caught up in there.
Yeah, so it doesn't get ripped off.
And the battery stays warm.
Yeah, it keeps the batteries warm as well. So just today, just make sure you put it under your top layer.
All right.
I'm happy with that. And then, yep, make sure it's switched on. Now, you see, switched on. It should be switched on. So it's in send mode. When you set this up, if you've got the black part facing out, because you'll actually see it's curved, so it'll actually fit it'll curve around your body. So you shouldn't actually be able to see the yellow bit. And then, yeah, let's pack probes up, and we'll be walking, so we can go for a bit, and if we need to do a clothing change, we can do that.
The Avalanche area, run off.
I know it's a little bit obscured by the two trees here, but you can see three pretty major avalanche paths just on the opposite side, and the biggest one being on the left there.
Where's that? In the shade there.
So you can kind of, from what we said yesterday, you can kind of make out where the start zone is, the back, and the run outs are probably a little bit hidden depending on where you're standing. Certainly the right hand one of the three there, we can kind of see where it normally runs out. If you went up there, what would you expect, you know, the vegetation to look like in those things? Yeah, trample.
Bare on one side.
Yeah, what are they called? Whereas the branches are ripped off on one side.
Here.
flag trees or flaggers. Doesn't matter too much, but they might use that. You know, you might be reading about that sometime. Anything else of interest over there? A little bit like we were doing yesterday.
The way the wind's sweeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the road. We'll probably watch the wind effect of that, isn't it? The road is, but some of those features up there's like little cornices on cross-loaded features. Yeah. So that looks like the wind's been almost blowing both ways, but it looks like there's been quite a lot of right to left. If you look out to the right, to that shady peak, you can see up in there's some cornices, and they would have been loaded from winds blowing from the right there. So they've been kind of loading on northerly aspects.
But then this one over here looks like it's left to right.
Yeah, there's going to be a mixture of the two, for sure.
Yeah, you can see that's here. From off the side.
Okay.
Can you point out the look along the road and then look up to the terrain across the way there, you'll see that you have a fairly large ridge that's pointing down towards the highway. And there's an area where it's on the sun side and then the shade side on the left-hand side. And the first really steep section you get to there, you can see an old crown feature in there. Can everybody see that? And it goes down into a gully, and you can actually, if you follow it down, you can see the debris and the channeling lower down. It's still in the shade there, eh? You can see how
You
it
can
comes
see
down.
where it's all ready to run off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a pretty good example of, you know, it's
Where-
a bit
where is
older
it?
crown because
What?
it's not
Where is
fully
it?
defined. It doesn't
In the
have a real
shade.
clean edge to it. Can you see how it's sort of rounded slightly?
Looks like snowballs
Oh.
come down it.
Huh?
Looks like the snowballs come down.
Yeah. The whole, yeah, so what would have probably triggered that, do you think? What would have been the thing that started that avalanche?
Its own weight, maybe?
Yeah, it's the snow itself. Yeah, I would agree. I think it was probably just overloaded because you can see that area. What would happen in that area there? What sort of effect? I think you were talking about different kinds of effect, temperature effect things. What sort of effect would you probably expect to get in there a lot?
Updraft wind.
Wind, yeah. So you would have had quite a lot of. And what type of slope would that be?
Lee?
Lee slope, right. So that's probably filled in there, overloaded, and at one point the weight of the snow overcame the structural strength in the snowpack and it decided to slide. And what kind of an avalanche would it be? Slab, yeah. Slab avalanche. Is that skiable terrain?
If you could.
It's sort of skiable, but for the most part, that's pretty extreme, isn't it? It's not the kind of terrain we go into, but still a good indicator.
How steep would you say that's?
Oh, that's a good question. How steep do you guys think that is?
65, 70. Oh,
Yeah,
you're talking the bottom
well, the
half.
very top there might almost get towards 70. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably more in the 50-degree range.
Yeah, it's
eh?
down at the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Lower down 45, going up into 50. The very top there, it actually kicks up a little bit, so it might even, at the start zone there,
Yeah.
it might be getting close. But usually does snow hang out in 70-degree slopes? No, it usually sloughs off, doesn't
Yeah.
it? So usually,
Those rocks are on there, perhaps.
pardon?
You know, there's all those rocks there.
Yes,
Maybe they just piled up on the rocks.
could have, yeah. Yeah, those would have been a weaker area too of the snowpack, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Looks like there's another slab just ready to break off just towards the front of the mountain.
Uh-huh.
You know, a bit higher up from where the avalanche is.
Yeah.
There's another
Well,
ridge.
that whole bowl is slid. It's harder to see farther around.
Yeah.
But if you continue on, you can actually see a small fracture, and it continues around
Yeah.
there too. Yeah. Cool, eh? Yeah. Sorry.
Kind of just to the right of where Chris was talking about, you got the bowl in the sun,
Yeah.
and quite often in the spring, or getting towards the spring, that one almost always avalanches, and that's going to be down to more solar effect,
Yeah.
just because it gets cooked by the sun.
It's in the sun all day.
Yeah,
How steep would you say that one?
Sorry?
How steep would you say that one?
that'll be in like the 30 to 45. Probably. Yeah.
That's the perfect skiing terrain and the perfect avalanche terrain.
about 32. So guys, I know it's quite a big group to show you here, but just come a little bit closer. We can't make the circle too small, otherwise you won't be able to see too well. How about this slope, do you think? Slope angle?
25. 18.
30.
Like even if you don't want to say it out, you can kind of think about what it is. Remember we talked yesterday about that, so it's not 45, is it? And then this little piece of duct tape is my 30-degree mark, so
20 something.
so probably just a little bit less. Now, doing this, it's not going to be mega accurate, but it's kind of ballpark.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get a bit more accuracy by putting something down, and then it's just remember that from the photograph we had yesterday. So measure this one. $29, 28, 29.
All right, let's go skiing. 29 degrees. Yeah. We're safe.
So who won that? we'll never know. So I just wanted to sort of stop here because, you know, these little banks in here, you know, it's pretty close to 30, so it's kind of getting steep enough to slide. Do you think you could this could avalanche?
Yeah, I thought that whole thing fell off it.
Well, in any conditions.
Yes, it could.
I think it would actually slide very far though.
No.
No. Like, I'm not sure whether you'd call it an avalanche. You might crack and slip a bit, but it's just such a short slope. So I'd consider, you know, this would be a safe place to have a look. And same on the other side there as well. Like I've actually triggered almost 80 meters of this, 100 meters. I just walked onto it and it went and just slipped a little bit, and it's like wow. So remember yesterday we talked about getting off the beaten trail and just having a look at some of these things. Now, if my plan was to kind of go up, you know, somewhere high up there, I wouldn't stop and, you know, spend a long time digging a pit in here because we talked about it needs to be relevant and representative of where you're going. But what I might do is come in and have a walk in here, and if I started getting funky things happening, at least I'm going to be alerted to it. I might stop and just with my hand, I've just been digging out in here, and straight away, you guys have probably seen this when you've been digging already, just like the whole pack's sugar snow. There is a little bit of a crust layer down in here, and that would have been formed by what? Yeah, so that was probably that November the 6th rain crust they're talking about. But actually, in the couple of weeks I've been here, this is already starting to deteriorate. It's been broken down there. So I might even just do a quick, you know, see what's happening. So you can do it with your hand, or you can just use a ski pole. And if you're doing that and the block slides out, then obviously there's something going on that you should be aware of. The other one, then I'm just going to put my hand in here, just going to pull on behind it a bit and see. So it kind of broke, and it's kind of gone just above that crust, but it kind of just fell apart more than anything. What I'd be looking for is the block to come out as a kind of cohesive slab. So although it didn't take much force, it kind of just destroyed it more than anything. So right now I'm not really, you know, there's nothing in there that, you know, I got a bed surface, I got a weak layer, but I don't really have any sort of slab on top of that. If you went higher, do you think you might start finding slabby conditions? Because yeah, so maybe there's a new layer of snow that's formed or stuff like that, and that's what they were talking about in the bulletin there. And then final look you could have a look here is I could either do this myself or someone could make a track just down there, and then I'd just come above that track and see what's going on. And if you're up here, and you're getting the big shooting cracks appearing. Again, like there's something going on in the snowpack you should be concerned about. And really, the closer I get to it, if it doesn't fail, so again, it's just falling apart more than being, you know, any cohesion in there. And if I know that, you know, if I've had a quick look here and I know, okay, there's a crust down a little bit. As we head up here, I might be able to probe into the pack with my ski pole and actually just feel, and I can actually feel there's a crust, and then it kind of breaks through that crust to the ground. And you can either use the basket, or I actually prefer to use the handle, because it's kind of a less surface area. Just push it down, there's the crust, and then I can kind of feel some softer snow underneath that. So as we head up here, you know, if you're walking on the track, maybe walk off occasionally. Don't go too far, otherwise we'll lose you. Have a prod yourselves. Sorry?
You got a beacon.
Yeah, we have a beacon.
Well, only if you go more than 60 metres away. Maybe we'll tie you all together. Any questions on that? So, probably going to walk for 15-20 minutes now. We'll probably do a couple of stops on the way, but just be looking around. We should start getting some views up in these peaks, and there's something that's happened on that peak that's probably of interest, that you get a chance to have a look at it, see if you can spot what I'm talking about.
Which way we heading? Straight up to the Earl?
We're going to go this way and then up, so we'll stay together.
When you take a probe, how important is to be in a shadowy, like a north face, or it doesn't matter?
Sorry?
When you take a probe, is it important whether you're on north face, shadowy or not? Like here is going to be shadow.
When you dig, you mean?
Yeah, when you're in a probe. Like when you do what you did now.
It's going to vary, you know, like if you're on a north face, you'll get different conditions to maybe something on a south face.
But for your purpose, it doesn't matter where you...
Well, I'm trying to gather information about the area I'm going to. So if I was thinking I wanted to go up on those top slopes and ski today, then I'd want to get information about that, and I'd have to probably go up higher to get accurate information.
All right, for that particular location.
Because of the elevation and things. Yeah.
I see. All right.
Yeah, so basically want to, the aspect you're going to ski on, that's where you want to probably gather the most information.
Sure. Absolutely.
Shall we?